Hello, my name is Ziba Tabrizi. I'm a professional dancer. I specialise in dance forms from regions of the Caucasus, the Middle East and Asia, including Afghanistan. During my career as a professional dancer, I've been lucky enough to have been involved in numerous Afghan family and community celebrations, ranging from weddings and private parties to music festivals and cultural events. However, outside the Afghan community, Afghanistan and its rich and colourful popular culture remains something of an enigma. I'm really interested in helping to increase mainstream awareness of Afghanistan and Afghan culture, and so I was delighted to be approached by Afghan Aid to collaborate with them on making some short videos to do with Afghanistan. And I hope you'll enjoy getting a little taste of what Afghan dance and music are about. I'd like to start by talking briefly about Afghan traditional clothing. Traditional dress is perhaps the most visual manifestation of a popular culture, and also for many people the way they dress is inherently bound up with their cultural identity. This is a fantastic traditional Afghan dress which was made in Los Angeles for me by an Afghan tailor and sent to me through the post. And when I opened the box, I was stunned by the sheer beauty of the garment, the intricacy of the design and the workmanship that went into it. It must have taken him ages. He was clearly some kind of sartorial visionary, and just about every stroke of inspiration he'd ever had went into this garment. From these beaded and mirrored panels to the gold detail here and all the little coins and bells, all the embroidery. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm going to show you it in greater detail in a minute. The dress is essential to the dance. This one sadly can't be worn for dancing because it's very fragile, and all the little bells and decoration tend to catch on each other and it could easily snag. But all the dresses flare out like a bell from the waist when you spin round, which is spectacular. They've also got, the ones I choose particularly, have also got quite heavy mirror work, which flashes beautifully in both artificial light and natural light, and the mirrors lend a lot of momentum and weight to the fabric, which makes it flow and swing really nicely. If you go to any Afghan social event, you'll see pretty much, I'd say most of the women wearing these beautiful dresses. It's a kaleidoscope of colour and styles, and the great thing is too that these dresses look good on anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are, or your height, or your size, or anything. Anyone can wear one of these dresses and look great. Menswear is a little more understated, perhaps not surprisingly. Men traditionally tend to wear long, fullish trousers, a fairly long tunic, and usually one of these gorgeous waistcoats. This is a fairly modest waistcoat by Afghan standards. Many of them are very heavily embroidered with sequins and mirror work to rival any women's garment. Let's have a look now at some of these gorgeous garments in more detail. This is the dress you saw me wearing earlier. Let's take a closer look. These two heavily mirrored dresses are traditionally associated with the Pashto people, and I wear them for performances because of the way they catch the light. An Afghan person once proudly informed me that all Afghans are musicians. Now, whereas I'm not sure whether that's strictly true, there certainly are an awful lot of Afghan musicians in London, and I've had the good fortune to work with probably the majority of them by now. So what do they play, and what do they play it on? Well, first of all, it's impossible within the scope of this video to do justice to the tremendous diversity of musical genres and musical instruments in Afghanistan. But if you were to go to a wedding party, you might see a keyboard player who would play amazing things on the keyboard. You know, they play really, really complex and exciting melodies and rhythms. You would see a percussionist who would have a tabla or a dal or a Ziba Tabrizi, which is a kind of goblet-shaped drum, or perhaps a mixture of all of those. You might see a harmonium as well. They produce a beautiful sound. In a more traditional ensemble, you might see a dembura, which is a folk instrument. It's a two-stringed, fretless stringed instrument. And a rubab is another instrument that you might see. This is regarded as a noble instrument. It's a member of the lute family. It holds a special has a special prestige really in Afghan culture, and it's the instrument of choice of various virtuoso soloists. Afghan music is sometimes played in 4/4 time signature, which is familiar really all over the world. It's what underpins most popular music. You might also come across music in 6/8 or 7/8, which are a little bit less familiar. Rather like traditional clothing, Afghan traditional music tends to be associated with particular regions of the country or particular ethno-linguistic groups, although in modern times there's been quite a lot of mixing of different traditional and cultural influences. I think the best known dance form in Afghanistan is the Atan, which is a group dance. Some Atans last a very, very long time. I've heard of them lasting up to a couple of hours. The participants go round and round in a circle to the beat of a drum. It's a very, very distinctive, quite heavy beat, and the dance becomes progressively wilder and more complex and faster. As I say, it can go on for a very, very long time. Other group dances include Troubazi, a stick dance, Arsak, that means clapping, that's often performed in a group, that's from the Panjshir region of northern Afghanistan, one of my personal favourites. Logari is another really interesting dance. It's where the music stops unpredictably throughout the piece, and the dancer has no idea when it's going to stop. You just have to stop with the music and then start again when it resumes. Ataghani is one of the most popular, one of the most common rhythms in Afghan music, and it underpins a lot of pop music. And I'll show you a very short little dance to a Ataghani piece in a minute. I'd like to show you a couple of performance clips so that you can see the interplay between the dancer, namely me, and the musicians. The key thing about Afghan dance is improvisation. It's not codified and sort of set in stone like certain dance forms are. And as long as you have an understanding of particular parameters and certain musical and rhythmic structures, you can improvise as much as you like, which is great for me because I'm not very good at remembering lengthy choreographies. So the first one I'm going to show you is from the ICC World Cricket Cup last year, Old Trafford in Manchester. I went along to support Afghanistan with a performance of traditional dance, and I'm performing here with Milad Yosefi, who's actually a rubab player, but here he's on the harmonium, and we have a singer and a dol player. Let's have a look. In the second clip, which was made at Brunel University in West London last year, you can see a tabla player and a musician playing the rubab. Like all my performances, this was completely improvised, and it's one of the things that I like best about Afghan dance. It's the element of the unexpected, not knowing what the musician's going to play, what he's going to do next, and I just have to follow, and it's great, I love it. An Afghan charity event in North London, and here you can see a tabla player and also someone playing the dembura. As you can see from the video clips, it's potentially quite difficult to generalise about Afghan dance as a women's solo performing art. The movements can be coy, demure, dainty, flirtatious, sedate, or they can really be quite bold and dynamic. It depends how you want to interpret the music, and actually everyone's got their own style. One of the simplest things about Afghan dance is the footwork. The term maida maida means dainty or delicate, and that's very often used to describe the little shuffling steps that you take with your feet, which actually can take you all around and around the dance floor for hours on end. arm and hand movements are soft and fluid and delicate. The hands can be used for all kinds of things, from framing the face, to hiding the face, to miming, putting on makeup, sewing a garment, and sewing grain. While the men use the same kind of shuffling step most of the time as the women, the men's arm movements are a lot stiffer, the posture is very erect, the arms are bolder. I'll show you both of them to the promised Qatagani rhythm. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to find out more about me, please visit zibatabrizi.co.uk and you can find me on Instagram as well. If you want to find out more about the work of Afghan Aid, please visit afghanaid.org.uk, where you can follow the charity, you can subscribe to updates, and you can even donate to their projects. Afghan Aid carries out vital and essential work in Afghanistan in numerous fields, including education, public health, agriculture and the infrastructure. And they need your support now more than ever because of the coronavirus pandemic. So do support them if you can. Thank you for watching and take care.